Welcome to Gun Owners of America, State of the Second podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm John, and today we're joined by Bill from PTR. Bill, how are you today, my friend? Thank you for joining us.
So excited to be out here in beautiful South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. Come on, how can it get any better than this?
I can't get any better than this. All right, let's go ahead and start off with our rapid fire questions. We're going to ask you 5 questions. You go ahead and answer them. What is your favorite caliber?
My favorite caliber would be the 338 Lapua.
Reason?
Yeah, you didn't see that one coming,
No, I did not see that one coming.
Yeah. Gosh, there was this phase in my life when I really wanted to get into long gun shooting. So I started out as a trap shooter. I got into target shooting. I got into handgun shooting. Then when I really got into the long gun shooting, I had this great sales day once and sold a few $1 million worth of handguns. So I decided to give myself a gift. And I bought myself a Barrett 338 Lapua. And ever since, I was addicted. Mile down range, light bulbs, nights out.
I love it.
What do you feel like is the most underrated firearm?
An underrated firearm. I would say probably the most underrated in today's day and age is a good old-fashioned 12-gauge shotgun. Believe it or not. I mean, don't listen to what the old-timers say. There's nothing better than a 12-gauge. And I won't talk about politics, but there was somebody who said that back in the day. But, we came out, PTR being we, came out with a line of 12-gauge home defense guns. There simply is nothing better. In your home, dark spot that doesn't belong there, you don't have to be a good shot. You point in that general direction, you're going to win, they're going to lose. It doesn't go through walls. It doesn't harm your family members on the other side of that wall. It is the most underrated item there is.
All right, to follow up with that, what is the most overrated gun?
Overrated. For overrated, we're probably going to go with like the guys that are addicted to, I've got to have the 40 cals.
We can be friends.
We'll get into this later. I'll leave that hanging chad right there. Never mind.
Do you think the rise of content creators in the 2A space is a net positive or a net negative to gun culture?
That's probably a little bit of each right there. There's not an answer one way or the other. Some have been positive, some are being negative. How I would phrase this is I love the awareness that they do bring to people. And under the previous administration, it helped us a lot. There was a lot of new first-time gun owners. So that was really, really positive. Now that we're in a more stable state, unfortunately, the influencers that were really good are now almost over glamorizing it and giving fuel to fodder for the liberal side of the equation. So I'm going to give it that yin and yang. It goes both directions. You have to just be careful with how exuberant you are. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What was the most influential gun design, in your opinion, in history?
And there's two. There's duelings, of course. I mean, that at one point in time I came from KUSA, so the AK-47 is as iconic as they come. I mean, when it's on a flag of another country, for goodness sakes, it doesn't get much more iconic than that. At the same time, I am a diehard 1911 guy. So, I mean, that's, a Browning 1911 is about as iconic as against a BAR. Come on, it doesn't get any better than that. But then you get to the ARs, the AR-15s. When you get to those realms of comparing an AR to an AK, that's pretty hard to actually say which is more iconic. Globally, I would say it was the AK, though.
Looking to upgrade your everyday carry? Langdon Tactical takes factory firearms and turns them into precision-built tools you can trust.
From world-class trigger jobs to complete custom packages, every detail is built for smooth, faster, and more accurate performance.
Known for the legendary LTT Beretta 92, Langdon Tactical sets the standard in custom handguns.
Trusted by professionals and enthusiasts alike, Langdon Tactical delivers more than upgrades. It delivers precision-built confidence.
Learn more at langdontactical.com and use code LTTGOA for $100 off orders over $1,000.
That's probably our best rapid fire segment. Sorry, everybody else, but that wraps up our rapid fire segment. So, Bill, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this. Go ahead and tell the folks who you are, how you got into the industry, and a little bit about PTR.
Wow, that's a whole lot to wrap into one little segment. So, all right, how y'all doing? I'm Bill Gentry. I'm the vice president of PTR. So I've been in the industry 27 years now, guys. I was the president of Cobra Firearms for 16 years of my career. I took Cobra from number 27 to number 7 in the industry in 4 years. We made a whole lot of handguns, affordable handguns. I called it affordable protection for the masses. They were inexpensive, and a lot of people wanted to poo-poo them, but because of their inexpensiveness. But we helped a lot of people defend their homes, defend their families, and that was what I was there to do. From there, I moved on to KUSA. We had a hell of a ride and brought the AKs from Russia into the United States. We built them here in Florida. We had a lot of fun doing that. I helped Norma Ammunition prep themselves for sale, and Beretta ended up buying them. Well, job well done. We moved on. I moved over, helped bring Bushmaster back to life in Reno, Nevada, the Carson City area, and then over here to PTR. And I'm having a hell of a ride with the number one suppressor line in the industry and the most iconic H&K style firearms, U.S. made, that there is, with lifetime warranty. So I'm just having a hell of a time in this industry. I'm having a fun ride. Here we go.
He was there when SHOT Show was invented. Let's go into PTR as itself. So PTR is known for their HK style firearms.
Okay, so like 22 years ago,
Okay.
PTR went to the country of Portugal, and they purchased the data packages, the licensing rights, the tooling, everything for the G3 H&K rifle, and brought it to the United States and began manufacturing. Well, during all of that, they also had some data packages for little things called MP5s and some other variants. So we're not guessing at what we do. We know exactly what we're doing. And we're not just close, we are to absolute specification. But we're made in South Carolina. We have a 100% lifetime warranty, and we stand behind it with all of our fervor.
So you said Portugal. Would that be off of the Setme, or is that off of some? Or I'm always thinking something else.
So Setme was a variant of a G3. So we are true to the G3. We make Setme parts. We're more than capable. We do provide those to other companies. We have really evolved, though, over the years into what you're seeing next to us here, into the modern cutting edge. So we have our legacy side and we have our cutting edge. We're changing the industry side, and that is the vent line of suppressors.
And so what made PTR get into suppressors?
When I first came in here, my job was to help grow the company. So diversification is one of those great ways to grow a company. And you're always worried under a non-2A friendly regime that might be in control, that what we make could be classified as an assault rifle. This general term that means absolutely nothing to any of us, but that's the general umbrella they put us under. So to make sure our survivability continues on, we needed to diversify and to look at other options. Well, we happened to find one option out there that turned out to be an industry-leading technology that we've availed ourselves of, and that is what's called PIP technology, purposefully induced porosity. This is something that cannot possibly be machined. It can only be 3D printed. We're talking Star Trek here, guys. Okay? You could not, a World War II machinist could not possibly create this. We have now taken a 9mm. I'm just giving you one of many examples. It cannot be suppressed any further. It is the sound of the action is now louder than the shot itself. So the gun itself cannot be suppressed any further because the action is going to remain louder. The clack. So I could literally stand in a group of people and fire a round off and nobody would flinch. It's that quiet. We're back to what I call movie quiet.
So what made you guys get into these are, from my understanding, 3D printed.
Mm-hmm.
What made you guys invest in that technology while others were kind of just using it as a rapid prototype technology instead of using it to actually manufacture?
It is the future. I learned this probably 10 years ago in manufacturing. There will be a day, and I'm surprised it's not here already, we won't be machining anything anymore. It really is Star Trek. It will be, you pull up a program and say, I want some of these, and the machine creates them. And that is close to what 3D printing is now doing for us. If an engineer can create it in his mind, we can prototype it, test it, and go into production very quickly now.
Now, when people think of 3D printing, they're thinking of their thing that sits on their desk at home that they can print little plastic parts from.
I want you to think the size of a locomotive that requires taking out a wall of a building to bring in. We're not talking a laser heating things. We're talking 5 lasers working in sync and creating something not one at a time, but 30, 40, 50 at a time simultaneously. It is a whole new ball game, guys.
Now, when it comes to 3D printed suppressors, my first train of thought and my first question is this all one piece, or is this serviceable by the end user? All that.
Great question. No, these are a monolithic print. They are literally built from the nose to the tail as a single piece. And that's what makes it something that a machinist, a machine shop, a CNC could not possibly do. I want you to think of PIP, purposefully induced porosity, as 3D printed foam, titanium foam, or Inconel foam. So the very first suppressor ever made was essentially steel wool, wrapped up and banded, stuck on the end of this barrel to capture these gases. And it worked pretty well. It actually worked really well for about 5 or 6 shots. And then that would diminish over time. With current 21st century manufacturing, we can make that a 50, 60,000 round capability now, not a 5 or 6 round capability.
Now, seeing that you've been doing this for a very long time, and I don't want to bring that up too much, but we saw the first suppressor technology was, steel wool wipes, and now we're in these baffles. How do you feel that the technology for suppressors will increase, and what do you think is the next big step in suppressor technology?
And I'm going to sound a little selfish here. I think that we've kind of put a cap on it for a little window of time. There is the better part of 9 patents close to inside this can. It's going to be very difficult to move beyond where we're at right now. Not impossible. Creativity is the mother of invention. Absolutely. Somebody could think outside a box that we haven't gone to yet. But right now, I see for the next many years, this is going to be a really hard product to beat.
Now, from your expertise in the industry as well as from the side of PTR, how do you feel that the $0 tax stamp that's coming up here very shortly is going to impact the industry? And if we do see, and as we are suing currently on removing suppressors and SBRs from the NFA, how do you see that impacting the industry as a whole?
Okay, so we're absolutely going to have a giant rush. All right, we're already starting to see the sales at the consumer level slowing down as we come into the imminent zone. It did not affect anything up until right about now, because people, they want what they want. If they're willing to spend $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 on a suppressor, $200 was nothing to them. I want what I want. But now that we're in this imminent zone, I can wait a few weeks and save $200. So we're seeing the slowdown taking place at this point. Once we get to January 1st, hi-ho silver, here we go. I was lucky enough to go to Washington, D.C., and I had a meeting through NSSF with the director and the deputy director of the ATF. Guys, I was really happy for the first time in a long time, talking directly with the ATF, what I was hearing back, that they knew the rush was coming. They were preparing for the rush. They were putting processes, new equipment into place to keep up with the rush. So we have teammates again instead of adversaries. We can go into that later on if you want to, but right now, I see a giant rush, to answer your direct question, coming up on SBR's SBSs as well, which PTR is coming out with. Hang on to your socks. And our suppressor line.
So you mentioned the suppressors. You're known for your HK pattern rifles and pistols. You mentioned shotguns. What made PTR get into shotguns and because I haven't seen them yet or before. So it's kind of a new line for you guys. What made you guys decide to get into that line and that side?
So again, we go back to what I was talking about, diversification. So part of what PTR only did consumer and distribution sales. There's a huge law enforcement and government market that was not being serviced properly. So I've really been pushing towards that direction. Especially after the Ukraine war began, a lot of the H&K components were not allowed to be shipped outside the country of Germany. So there's a lot of MP5s, a lot of H&K style firearms out there that were not being serviced. So that's where PTR was able to step up to the plate, because we have true to specification components and we've been able to start servicing all these things. Now, at the same time, though, that really started to open the gates into the LE world for us. So we started to look what else is needed. So in the LE side, we created what we called the breacher. And you don't even see it on our website, and we don't show it for a reason. It is truly law enforcement only. It is designed for the law enforcement officers that are very rural, that may not have time to wait for backup to get to them to breach a door when they know there's an emergency. They need to go in now. So we created a very purpose-built shotgun, a 12 gauge, for breaching firearm doors that can be kept in any officer's trunk of his car. So they can breach those doors. They can go in when they're hearing there's a cry for help. They've got to go in now. They can't wait for 20 minutes because they're rural. And we became fairly successful with that. We also created the civilian version, because it was successful, called the Jack. Now, if you've watched movies, I want you to put the names together. Jack Breacher.
Love it.
Okay. So the Jack is the civilian version. It does not have the true breaching tip, and it got a little more limited capacity. The Breacher's a 3+1, which is just enough to take those hinges, take the lock mechanism, fold that door. Okay. The Jack, on the other hand, is a 2+1. That is perfect for next to the nightstand. You don't have to be a good shot. It's a 12 gauge. They're both AOWs, by the way, by classification, which right now, if you were to buy it, is a $5 tax stamp. But of course, with everything else, as of January 1, it's a $0 tax stamp. It is the ultimate home defense gun. General direction of the dark spot in a black room that doesn't belong there, you win, they lose. That's how I look at it, and that's how I train my family. Okay? My wife can operate it. My daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, can operate it. If dad's not there to protect them, they know where it's at and how to use it.
I love that. Now we've got something else behind us, and it's very cool looking. So let's kind of dive into this. You brought it up. It just came out as of us filming this episode. What do we have behind us?
So this literally has just started going to boxes last week. It's that new. We haven't fully released it, but they're going into boxes and orders are shipping out the door. Here we go. So you've got a classic, what we call RCT, Charlie Tom, which y'all know is an MP5. We've teamed up with both Magpul and Tibney triggers on this one to make the industry something special. Because, again, we have the $0 tax stamps coming up. This is an SBR with a Magpul stock, Magpul handguard, Magpul trigger housing, Tibney trigger, and a Magpul 50-round drum is what she ships with.
That just says
This is a true collaboration between three great companies.
So you mentioned the trigger housing. What made now historically, the HK pattern of trigger housing? What made Magpul want to get into that part of it, or what kind of brought this all about? This whole collaboration.
I can only give you a little bit of a prelim on that. And what I mean by that is Magpul, to my understanding, and I'm not Magpul, so I cannot speak for them, was working with another company, and that project did not come to completion. But Magpul, being as honorable as they are, had built the tooling, built everything, and they were ready to run. So we had a great conversation that we are the best U.S.-made H&K style product within the United States. Roller delayed is what we'll call it. And we came up with a great arrangement that we have the ambidextrous trigger housing and Tibney's 2.5 pound 2-stage trigger pull. 2.5 pound 2-stage trigger pull.
Now this is the first. Now, if I remember correcting, is this the first time that there's been an MP5 lower with the ambidextrous? I don't remember seeing.
Magpul's made it available on their website.
Okay,
it has been available for how long? I'm not even sure, but we are the ones that are going to help launch it. And so we've already. This is going to be I left the best part out. Oh my goodness! You ready for this?
Yes.
The PTR has included a cold hammer forged barrel in these. We've never made a cold hammer forged barreled firearm in our company's history. It was worthy of this partnership. So we've got the Magpul Tibney PTR cold hammer forged combo here. It is for the diehard that wants to go and run.
He said Die Hard, which is a Christmas movie. I'm going to put it right there.
We're going to have a special for that too.
Well, I'm picturing Nakatomi Plaza ornaments and ho ho hos.
What if an MP5 were to sit on top of a Nakatomi tower for you to buy?
Oh, I'd buy that now. Just take my money. Let's go. Now,
just what if? I'm just saying. What if?
I realize that there are many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones popping up all of the time. But here's the truth.
You won't find another cell phone service provider that does more to defend our Second Amendment right to bear arms than Patriot Mobile.
For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while also providing exceptional nationwide cell phone service with access to all three of the main networks. Don't just take my word for it. Ask one of the hundreds of thousands of Americans who have made the switch and are now supporting causes they believe in simply by joining Patriot Mobile.
Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes from the comfort of your own home. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade.
Patriot Mobile's all U.S.-based support team is standing by to take care of you. Call 972-PATRIOT today or go to patriotmobile.com/GOA. Use the promo code GOA for a free month of service and 15% off every line. That's patriotmobile.com/GOA or call 972-PATRIOT. and make the switch today. So it is time for our From the Soapbox, the point in the show where we address the spicier sides of the industry. And so I'm going to throw it over to you. What are the hot takes that you have for what's happening in the Second Amendment community right now?
All right, fair enough. I mean, I teased earlier that I got to have a wonderful, and I don't say that lightly, conversation with the director and deputy director of the ATF. Guys, I've been in this business 26 years now. I have seen the industry and the regulatory ATF go from working together. We were a team when I started this to make sure that we were keeping the bad guys off the streets and everything was running right and protecting the Second Amendment, to being an adversarial relationship. And it is now finally, to my heart's delight, come full circle and back to we're becoming a team again. They're not here to hurt the industry. They're not here to hurt the Second Amendment. They're here to simply do what Congress has required them to do and do some basic regulation. And we're going to see more and more of that drop off. But we finally, once again, have teammates that I'm seeing. I got to sit and have lunch with these people, and the conversation went to how our dads raised us. You know, that struck a totally different chord in me. We weren't talking politics. We were talking about how we were raised. And it's different than the way kids are raised now. Now, I can't say that about my kid. I got a good one. I raised her the way I was raised. You know, and I hope a lot of other parents did the same thing out there. We held true to our values and our beliefs. My kid stands out for the Pledge of Allegiance. She knows how to put her hand over her heart. She knows how to recite it. Not because I taught her, because she wanted to learn. She wanted to understand it. I don't push her in a direction. And I say her. I have a daughter. And I don't push her in any given direction. I encourage everything. I don't say she has to be a Republican or a Democrat or what religion she has to be a part of. I encourage whatever direction. And I'm so damn proud with everything that I've seen. Set by example is all I can say to everybody out there. When they see that you're a good person and these are the beliefs that you hold, but you don't push them on them, they may choose to adopt them. As my little girl did. She'll always be my little girl, even though she's not little anymore, but she'll always be my little girl. But guys, in the industry, it really is just that simple. Here, let me tell you another story. Do we have time for another story?
Sure.
Here's another story for you. When I was back at Cobra, I had the opportunity to own a segment of the industry. And what I mean by that is I could have absolutely shut down another gun company by flooding the market and killing their ability to survive. And then I was going to go and pick up their carcass and own it, because that's what I was hired to do, to be ruthless and go out there and grow this company. And the long-time owner, has been in the industry far longer than I have, set me down and taught me a lesson. Here's the lesson that I want you all to understand. He said, Bill, no, you're not going to do that to them. Yes, you could. And here's why. The more of us in this industry that there are, the stronger we are to fight when we're under attack. Let them live. Let them make a living. And that went against everything I knew about business up until that point. Here's my number one competitor that I have a chance to take out of the game. And the lesson learned is, the more of us there are in this industry, the stronger we are as an industry.
That hits hard, because I always say, you know, we always there's been attacks on. Listen, if you work in business and are in this industry long enough, you're gonna know there are people that you're not gonna like, And there's people that you're going to like. And you might not like or you maybe have a competitor in business. You could take any big box retailer, but at the end of the day, with most of our industry, we are friends. And there's a lot of circles that a lot of us all run in, and a lot of people from the outside looking in from the industry. It could be, pick two random companies. This guy hates this guy because they're competitors. Well, we're not competitors. Well, there's enough slices of the
in
pie
our
out there.
industry. If you burn a bridge, it will come back to bite you.
Oh, yes.
It looks like this big, monstrous, powerful industry. It's actually very tight knit. Okay, I'm going to give you my out of the pocket. I share this with very few people. This is how the industry truly is. The industry is a pack of wolves. And we will defend and fight for each other with all of our might. But if somebody gets weak and strays, the rest will tear them apart. It is a pack of wolves.
You're absolutely right. This is because a lot of people look on from the outside looking in and go, "This is a huge industry," and it really isn't. We're very close knit. If you don't know somebody, and I know you've experienced, but if you don't know somebody from another company and you want to talk to them, and I go, "I don't know somebody at this company," you can ask within 2 phone calls. You probably can get a number for somebody, and they'll answer the phone and they'll talk to you.
Best example I can give you. I want you to think under the Clinton administration.
Oh,
Clinton administration. They were calling for smart guns. Now, I was highly involved in smart guns during my career. We won't touch on that right now because that's not why I'm here. But Smith & Wesson, and I don't like to use other companies' names, but this is just factual that's out there right now. Smith & Wesson agreed to take a sizable sum of money to research smart gun technology. The NRA called for essentially a boycott on Smith & Wesson. It wasn't but a few months later that they had to declare bankruptcy. An outside company bought them. It all changed. And they came back into proliferation. It's been sold since then. I mean, there's been back and forth. But that's the way this industry is. If somebody folds, it doesn't matter how big or small you are. If you fold to the pressure against taking care of the Second Amendment, the rest will be a pack of wolves and tear you apart. Does that make sense?
Oh, no. That's well
I've
said.
seen
Perfect.
it. That was one example multiple times. You hold true to your beliefs. You hold true to the United States Second Amendment, to the U.S. Constitution, to what we as Americans believe in or used to believe in and should again. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense.
I think that it's valuable for people who are not a part of the industry to understand what makes the Second Amendment community great and why we're so excited to have individuals join the community, why we're excited for the next generation to be employed by the industry if that's the route that they want to go.
It's not just employed, it's engaged with the industry. That's what's so important. Look, guys, I started 13 years old. Divorced family. Dad gave me a .22 rifle. Mom kept it in the closet. Every now and then she'd take me out to the sand dunes in the desert, let me shoot my little .22, and I'd shoot little mini booze bottles. I used to collect them from the airlines back in the days when they had little glass mini booze bottles, and I'd put food coloring in them and set them up on the sand dunes and plink them. And I was having fun with that. And one day we were driving home, and on the side of the road there was this shooting range where these things were flying through the air and people were shooting them at. It was a trap shooting range, and I'd never seen such a thing at 13 years old. So I asked Mom, "Hey, can we go try that?" Well, not knowing I can't do that with my .22 rifle, They said, no, kid, you can't do that. You need a shotgun. So I go back and ask Dad, hey, I really want to try this. Can I have a shotgun? He gives me his first ever 20 gauge shotgun, old side-by-side Spanish, called a Matador. Single selective trigger, single selective ejector. He thought it was the cat's meow. Bought it from a Sears catalog back in the day. And I go out there and I start trying these things. I'm not doing too bad. This little old man comes waddling out. Dominic Carpolisi. Everybody at the range called him Kinky. Dominic Carpolisi. All right, kid, keep your head down, keep the gun swinging. He starts giving me these little pointers. And then we go back out again and again and again, and he keeps walking out and giving me these pointers. About 3 weeks into this, he says, you know what, kid? There's a competition coming up next week. I think you ought to enter it. I think you'd have some fun. So I beg and plead my parents to buy the 100 rounds of ammunition and the whatever $25 or $50 entry fee that it was. That was money back then. Well, and I go out there and they agreed. They supported their boy. And I went out there and I shot this competition and I got into a shootout. I tied for the lead. My first competition ever. That 100-round competition turned into a 300-round shootout. In the dark, in the rain, with the wind, the whole 9 yards. And I won. And the man I was up against, the full-grown man I was up against, was the number 3 ranked shooter in the country. And at 13 years old, I found that I had a gift. And I was addicted from that point on. Man never spoke to me again, mind you. I'll leave his name out of it. I know his name clear as day. It's locked in my brain, but never spoke to me again. And it started, I never saw myself having a career in this industry. There was no career being a trap shooter back then. There was no scholarship I could get. There was nothing. So by the time I was going to college time, it was, all right, goodbye passion. And it was time to focus on something new. And I went on to new things and learned legal things, business things. My dad used to tease me, you're going to go right from college to Social Security, because I was enjoying learning and sucking all this information in. And out of nowhere, I got sucked into the firearms industry. I had all this background, I had all this education, and I was asked to be the president of a gun company. And here I am, 26 years later, being nothing but a president or vice president of a gun company ever since. And I couldn't imagine doing anything different. I love it here. I love the people. I love the fight for what's right. And I told you I was into smart guns for a little bit. I was the one guy, I had death threats the whole 9 yards because I made the smart gun of all smart guns. I was called in to the Department of Justice under Eric Holder after Sandy Hook because they wanted to mandate what I had as a requirement in every firearm in the country. This is a true story. And I stood on live television. Y'all look up right now the gun manufacturer that told off Eric Holder. And you're going to see me tell him I would burn my company to the ground before I would allow this technology to be used as a mandate and change the Constitution for my daughter to grow up in. That's how serious I'd take it. I could have my pockets lined with money if every gun had to use what I knew. I didn't do it. I told them I'd burn the company to the ground, and I put that technology in a deep, dark shelf, and you've never seen it since. You didn't know this until right this second.
No, did not.
A lot of people don't. That's how serious I take what I do in this industry.
That's awesome.
I'm speechless. I don't know how to, that I applaud you. I think everybody will applaud you for that. That is a true American patriotic thing to do.
No, it was the right thing to do.
That too.
My daughter's going to grow up under the U.S. Constitution and the Second Amendment, just like I got the privilege of doing. Not influenced by her dad because they want to make a buck. So, here I am at PTR selling you the single damn best suppressors and rolling block systems that exist on the planet.
Oh, and 40 still sucks. So, anyways.
Bingo. Now, I'll buy the 40 if I can turn it into 357 SIG.
Yes.
Okay, nuts.
100%.
Okay.
That's the only reason why you buy a 40 is to turn it into...
Change the barrel, change the mag. I don't have to change the mag, just to change the barrel. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm sad that caliber kind of died out.
I have like 5,000 rounds. I still like it.
I had a box of 357.6 somebody gave me, and I bought a barrel just because of that, which, 50 rounds is not a lot to spend the $100-something on a barrel, but I did it, and then I kept shooting the 357.6, and then I never bought any more after that.
At 100 yards, you got like 3 inches of drop. It's nothing.
so good.
It's flat. I love that round.
There's that one. That was a round I hope makes a comeback at some point. I'm trying to think if there's any other round that should come back. Which the one that really interests me is the recently. I know I'm going off topic, but the one that really interests me recently is the 30 Super Carry. For some reason, that has piqued my interest.
Don't know enough about it to
like
weigh in.
32. It's like 32 H&R Magnum, but in a semi-auto cartridge.
So it's rimless.
No, it's rimmed.
It's a rimmed.
It's a rimmed cartridge.
But semi-auto.
Yes.
Semi-autos are normally rimless.
No, you're right. It's rimless. My bad. I confused
So the
myself.
32 H&R would be the rimmed version.
Yes.
I made a lot of Derringers in that caliber, so I know it quite well. She's powerful. The most underestimated caliber that's out there, believe it or not, is the 22 Magnum.
Yes.
It has the same ballistics as a 38 Special. It will penetrate a phone book. Back in the days when we actually had phone books, I'm that old. We had phone books, the LA phone book. 38 Special would make it about 2/3 of the way through. A 22 mag would punch completely through.
I've seen that one. The one that interests me the most is 327 Federal Magnum.
That's an old one too.
If you're looking for a one-stop shop for all of the parts that you need for your current build, your next build, or to dial in your everyday carry, look no further than Primary Arms. They are a fantastic supporter of gun owners of America, and for many of us, they are the first place that we stop when we're looking to build our next gun. So check them out at Primary Arms, and you won't be disappointed.
So what are your questions that I saw that we haven't gotten to yet? I'm gonna bring you to
You
it.
okay?
Now.
Go for it.
I'm gonna bring it to you now. What are you talking about? What do you carry as your everyday carry?
What do I carry as my everyday carry? Depends on the day.
See, right tool for the job,
Yes.
right? That was an open-ended question that I was gonna set you up with right there.
It really depends on the day.
The day, the weather, the outfit. I mean, it all changes. But do you train with all of those options?
Yes.
You have to, or don't carry it, right?
Exactly.
Right? I'm looking at the camera, not you. Right, people? Train with it or don't carry it.
Well, that's like, depending on the weather, it's hilarious because I've got a Palmetto State Armory micro dagger that I carry very often. The PSA, or not the PSA, the Canic Prime is another one that I carry often.
But why? What changes it? So the right tool for the job. What changes
Depends on what I'm
the
wearing.
tool for that job? So I'll make it simple for you. My everyday, always on me, is a little Beretta Bobcat. Because I can put it anywhere. I can hold it in the palm of my hand right now and you would have no idea it was there. It's always on me, regardless what else is on me. There is summertime wear where I get to have a shirt untucked. And then we're probably going with a Smith & Wesson M&P. Nice and thin, compact, The compact version, mind you, that's single stack right up against me. But if you want my heart of hearts, I get to wear a jacket, and now I've got a shoulder holster on and my Colt 1911 living right here. 2 mags under here. You give me my Colt, and I will run a ragged hole at 15 yards, no problem. That is my baby. She has a name. You ready for her name?
Yes.
She's the Dragon Slayer.
I love it.
She actually has a dragon skeleton overlaid over the slide. And she's the Dragon Slayer. She's the coolest looking 1911 government model you've ever seen.
No, it is. It depends on what I'm wearing, what time of year. I live in Phoenix, so it's always hot.
It's always hot.
So it's like, but it's only depends on what I wear, what feels comfortable that day. It's so weird, yeah.
So the 1911s are so big, obviously. It takes more than just a shirt to be truly concealed. That's why I wait for that to be something where I can wear a jacket and the shoulder holster. But that is my true dedication. If I'm going to say I'm trained in something, it's that.
Yeah, I'm going to admit something. The internet can judge me. My nightstand gun is a 1911 that I love, that I train with a lot, that I've shot a lot of rounds through because I love the way it shoots. And it's gonna stay there.
I have several, a little mini collection, and I've got my go-tos. No, I have my go-tos, but my Colt government model Dragon Slayer is what I call her. She's my number one. That's my sweetheart right there. If I want to look really tactical for whatever stupid reason that might be, then it would be my SIG Black Ops 1911. You think the word fire and she goes off. Okay? You just think it.
It's like the one I've been trying to get. I gotta get a holster for it, but I've got the new Springfield Armory TRP with the bobbed, the concealed carry grip.
Mm-hmm.
The bob grip. Love it. Just haven't carried it yet. But I love that gun.
Well, train with it before you carry it. That's the rule of the game.
100%. Bill, again, I appreciate you being here. Go ahead and shout out where people can find PTR, all that information, things like that.
All right, PTR-US.com. You can find all of our goodies. Guys, we've got a lot of fun new stuff coming out for SHOT Show this year. We didn't even touch on that yet. You got to see all the Magpul goodies. You saw the suppressors. We might have some more of those coming your way.
All right, and before we go, we have our special thank you to AAC Ammo and Palmetto State Armory. You'll be receiving this after the show, a gift for our guests for a thank you for being on the show with us. So thank you, AAC Ammo and Palmetto State Armory. Thanks, guys, for watching today. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell for notification. Make sure to go to the Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit Goals happening in Des Moines, Iowa, August 1st and 2nd. Go to gunowners.org/goals to secure your tickets today, and we will see you in Des Moines.